All right. Back in the main room. Okay. Now who will want to start first? What I'd like you to do, sorry, I'm just gonna mute everybody just in case. And then you can speak as we go. So by the way, the guest speaker has told me that she might be 5 minutes late. So we have an extra 5 minutes that we can talk about these strategies with you. So let's say group one, who wants to start first? Does anybody wants to start?
Us? Are we group one?
You are group one, but I was one, it's okay if someone wants to be a volunteer as well. But if you want to start, we can start. Now, what I'll need you to do is I'll need you to write let me just do the pointer here. Write the name of the hotel that you've chosen, and then write down the 3 strategies while someone is explaining them. Use like usual.
Is there any way we can get back to our chat for the room?
I'm not sure, to be honest.
Okay.
And I believe also Amanda has just joined. Hello, Amanda. Oh, she's joining. Okay. So you did one and only Wolgan Valley. Okay. So specific activities such as going bush walking and conservation program, I would assume. Okay. Perfect. So that's definitely one. While you're speaking, I'm actually uploading the slides from our guest. She just sent it to me. Okay, so specific activities such as going bush walking and conservation, definitely, because that collect and puts them back into a sense of place. There are villas and rooms, offer sweeping views across the mountain valley, which is particularly unique for the area, and the advantage of the location. It combines the unique environment with the journey, some exploration, a shrub botanical spa. Yeah, perfect. So the strategies can be link people to the nature. That's great. This is definitely one of those strategies that can provide that sort of authentic feel. Specifically tailoring to creating an experience related to the location. Yes, great. A lot of interesting things you're saying, for example, using botanicals, which is very Australian botanicals, which again links it back to the place that they're in. You're saying there are activities that they do and they create for the guests to they offer the advantage of the location. Great, very great. Some great strategies. Individualized programs for guest escapes, such as couple retreats, family program, wellness retreat. Perfect. These are great strategies.
I mean, ultimately, the strategy is centered around the location of the hotel and the fact that it is situated, remotely in the mountains, that allows that kind of escape feeling and that luxury relaxation. It's a lot more of it's about creating an experience of escapism as opposed to just a hotel for accommodation in the city. It's a very different experience to a city hotel.
And that's great because, as you mentioned, certain hotels are used for certain reasons and others are used for other reasons. This hotel might be very much a leisure hotel where people go and escape. Well, for example, we have, I think it's group 2 or group 3 that has done Ovolo, that is right in the city.
Okay, so
we have also a lot of the students from the Melbourne campus joining. Welcome, everybody. And I believe we have Amanda as well. Let me just put you as a moderator, Amanda. There you go. Almost uploaded your slides. Just to give you a bit of an understanding what we were doing, we've decided that I've given a hotel to each to choose from, and they were looking at how this hotel can create unique and authentic experiences. Students, what we could do is I think we could resume this activity after Amanda's speech. If Amanda, it's okay with that? Let me just see if Amanda's here. And Maxine, actually, you are in the room, are you?
I do believe so.
Where are you? I can't hear you. I can't see you.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, there you go. Here you are. Maybe you want to just say hi to everybody. Maxine is the lecturer from Melbourne that teaches the same subject, and we have quite a few of our Melbourne friends here. Welcome, everybody. We were just going through some activities for today. So we will resume the activity afterwards, and we'll wait until Amanda is ready to do the presentation. In the meantime, I am uploading, sharing the slides. There you go, for Amanda. And when she's ready, she'll jump in.
So hi, it's great that we've all connected in. I had some connection issues to start this afternoon, but it seems like our students are there. So can you see how many are in?
At the moment, we have 32 students, 34 students. So
Great.
I believe we have 11, like minus you, 10 of your students at the moment in here.
They'll give us the opportunity, and let's make a good copy. Let's give them the opportunity to pull their socks up, but us as well.
Someone is talking.
Let's us drive it as well.
I'm just going to mute everybody. There you go.
Well, that's what I mentioned in theory.
Oh, interesting.
And I still haven't seen anything.
It's Amanda, I think.
Yeah, and I have 10 students with me. So that sounds right.
Great. So I think they're all here.
Yep, beautiful.
I think Amanda told me, and this is for everybody, so maybe you might want to have a couple of minutes to maybe have a little stretch in time. Amanda told me that she was called for an emergency meeting at 1:30, so she might be 5 minutes late, but I can see that she is connected. She might not be just ready yet. So maybe let's have a couple of minutes until Amanda is here, and then when I reach Amanda, then we'll let her join everybody.
Beautiful. Thanks.
Great. You can stay connected anyway.
Still yet to be seen. So it's not, this is definitely not a beat up for me. I just want to give you a highlight these things and take it up with things, but we want to make this, worth it.
Hey Anita, can you hear me?
Hello Amanda, we can hear you indeed.
it's just feedback. Like you don't improve.
I think there is someone talking in the background though.
You're definitely talking perfect. and same with us. Like you need to give us the feedback as well.
Can you hear us, Amanda?
Thank you for that. And he's in the back. He's in the back. He's just like, oh, it's really good. Like anymore. All right, well, I'll read KK that, and I'll let you know how it goes. Oh, and I'm having dinner at Lee Keith's house tonight. Oh, will do. All right, then. Okay.
Okay, so we identified that Amanda couldn't hear us because she is not using Chrome. So she's gonna jump in Chrome and join in again. In the meantime, please feel free, you guys, to have a bit of a chat as well. Okay.
Hello, we have sound.
Yay!
Which
We
is
made it.
super exciting.
Oh, great. Let me just put you as a moderator, Amanda, so you can move the slides. There you go. Now you have moderator's rights.
Amazing, amazing.
And let me know when you're ready for the presentation. I can share it.
Yeah, awesome. Ready to go, darling. Go for it.
Great. Okay.
Now, Anita, why can't I see everyone?
Because they have all the cameras off.
Oh, what? That's so unfair. You can see me. I should be able to see you, right?
Yes.
Unless everyone's in their pajamas, in which case I completely understand.
Well, we'll try to do a photo at the end.
Yeah,
Okay,
awesome.
let me just
Awesome.
sharing. There you go. And let's share
Amazing.
now. Here we are. This is the presentation.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Anita. Thank you so much for inviting me here today. This is just crazy doing a video conference lecture today. My goodness, I've got to say I'm a first timer at this. So ladies and gents, please be gentle with me.
I'm sure they will start drawing on your presentation, make jokes and strange shapes, etc.
I love it. I love it. Now, guys, put your hand up if you're feeling good today. Yay, Amrita. Awesome. I love it. I love it. Look at all those hands coming up. That's incredible.
I'm putting mine as well.
Oh, just as well. And it seems that it's cold down in Melbourne as well, from what I'm reading.
Yes.
Crazy, huh?
We're just having a bit of a whinge about the fact that it's not summer anymore, isn't it?
Ah, absolutely.
See, someone brought
Absolutely.
welcome Amanda on your presentation.
Oh, I love this. How cool is this? Living the dream in isolation. I love it. I love it. I love it. So thank you so much for having me here today, guys. I'm really excited to be presenting to you. Let me just tell you a little bit about myself. My name's Amanda Cottome, and I'm the Director of Operations and Brand Experience for Ovolo Hotel Group. I've worked in the industry now for over 25 years. Yes, I know I am incredibly old. And I have two loves in my life, and the first one is my dog Rufus, my beautiful little cavoodle, and secondly, my love for hotels. Please don't tell my husband that he doesn't make top two, as I think he'll be very, very disappointed. But guys, I'm very, very fortunate to have landed a gig at Ovolo Hotels. It's a very exciting role that I have here. And I'm sure that you'll see as we run through the presentation that Ovolo Hotels is like nothing, like no other brand that I've ever worked with before. So it's super exciting. So guys, let me just tell you a little bit about Ovolo. I guess our story is very unique. No, Amanda's not in Woolloomooloo. So Amanda's based in, well, I'm based, I shouldn't speak about myself in the third person. I'm based in Ovolo, Woolloomooloo normally, guys, but at the moment, because of COVID, very interesting time, we've got a number of cells that we've placed into hibernation. Now, I'm currently on a 2-day stint of taking care of our beautiful heritage listed property, Ovolo 1880, which is in Darling Harbour. So believe it or not, right now I'm sitting at the reception desk. Not sure if you can see behind me there, but there's some antiques in the background. It's a little old reception desk here, and that's where I'm based, well, for the next 2 nights and the next 3 days. So very different situation, that's for sure. So let me tell you a little bit about Ovolo Hotels. We're very different to any brand that you'd find, and I guess our roots started out in Hong Kong. So we're established in Hong Kong back in 2002. And initially, we considered ourselves one of the most Instagrammable hotels in the world, and you're going to see why we refer to ourselves as that as we start to go through each of the slides, and you'll see how design and interaction with the space from a customer perspective is very important to us. During this time, we've got more than 4 hotels now in top 10 in TripAdvisor. In fact, we've now got 6. I guess because of our different take on hospitality, a lot of guests are loving what we're doing, and it's seen our flagship property, Ovolo Woolloomooloo, based in Sydney, become #1 on TripAdvisor, not only for Sydney, but also voted in Traveller's Choice Awards for last year to be the best hotel in the South Pacific, which is a huge accolade. And we've got Ovolo 1888 Darling Harbour, which is currently in the #2 position in Sydney, and also voted 3rd best hotel in the South Pacific region. And I guess, guys, the reason that we've been, or we are considered so highly in why we are considered, I guess, so successful in the hotel space is because of how we do things so differently and how we provide authentic and unique experiences for our guests. Now, guys, this is the brains trust behind the operation, Mr. Girish Junjunwala. So Girish Junjunwala is based in Hong Kong, and I guess that this is the reason why Ovolo is so completely different from any other brand. Girish is a true entrepreneur, and I have to say I haven't had the opportunity to work with an entrepreneur before, but I have found during my 25 years through hotels that quite often hotels think very traditionally. They're not terribly agile. They don't like or they find it uncomfortable doing or questioning the status quo or doing things differently. And due to Girish's entrepreneurship, this is how we've come up with this incredible award-winning brand. I can just give you a little bit of insight into how Girish thinks. It was would have been maybe three years ago when Girish gave me a phone call and he said to me, Amanda, you need to purchase some Alexas for the hotel rooms. And I said, what are you talking about? I don't even know what an Alexa is. And he says to me, Amanda, you need to buy 550 units and we need to have them installed in the hotel rooms by next week. I'm like, oh my goodness. So I spoke to IT and ordered all of these Alexas and we went to plug them in. And of course, because they'd only been released in the United States, the conversion, the electrical converter didn't work. So we had to buy then all of the converters or the adapters to attach the Alexas in. And then we plug it in and we say to Alexa, what's the weather like in Sydney? And Alexa says, in an American accent, well, the weather in Canada, in Sydney, Canada, is blah, blah, blah degrees. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, we can't do this. How can we possibly roll out Alexa when she's going to be giving completely incorrect information to our guests? And so I went back to Grish and I said, look, we're really worried about rolling this out. I really think that it's going to wind up with some guest complaints. And he said to me, you know what, Amanda, let's just take the risk. Let's plug it in. We'll be the first hotel in the world to have Alexas installed in our rooms, and the guests are going to love it. Now, ladies and gentlemen, lo and behold, we put the Alexas in the rooms, and for the first 6 months of Alexa operation, we had more nominations for Alexa than we did our employees on our guest satisfaction survey. So I guess that the key things that I've learned from Girish, and it's probably the steepest learning curve that I've been in during my career, is learning to take risks. Learning that sometimes things aren't going to be perfect, sometimes they're going to fail, and that's okay as long as we pivot, as long as we react, things will be okay. And it's this being first to market that has helped Ovolo as a brand become as awarded as it is now. So guys, what does Ovolo mean? So Ovolo means uovo. It comes from the Italian word for egg, which is uovo. And it's all about new life, new aspiration, and new possibilities, which really fits in with, I guess, our innovative entrepreneurial mindset. These are the hotels that we currently have in our portfolio. At present, we have 6 hotels through Australia. We've got 2 in Sydney, one being Ovolo Woolloomooloo, and the one that I'm in now, which is Ovolo 1888 Darling Harbour. We've got 2 up in Brisbane, one being Ovolo Inchcombe, which is a small 50-room heritage-listed doctor's surgery, unbelievable product. We've got Ovolo the Valley, which is based in Fortitude Valley. Then we've got down in Canberra, we've got Ovolo Nishu, which used to be the hotel back before we leased it. And we've also got Ovolo Laneways, which was our very first property in Australia. Now guys, we've also got 4 properties over in Hong Kong. We have 2 Ovolos, and we're just in the process at the moment of rebranding our Mojo Central property to what we call a Buy Ovolo collective property called the Shungwan. And we've also got another brand, Mojo Nomad, which is much more around the co-living, co-share kind of market. So guys, why are we here? You know, I guess we always start with why at Ovolo, and I'm sure that some of you will have read Simon Sinek's book, Start With Why, and our why is to make people happy. And in fact, we say make people shiny, happy people, and that goes along with the REM song, Shiny, Happy People. And can we have a raise of hands? Has anyone heard the song Shiny, Happy People by REM? Oh, look, we've got a few of you there. I thought you might have been all too young to know that song, but I won't sing it for you, I promise. I promise I won't put you through that punishment. But yeah, I guess that fundamentally hospitality is all about taking care of people. And we firmly believe that if we look after people, that it will make them happy. We believe that happiness is infectious. And I'm sure each of you will know at some stage, whether it's been through your schooling or through another job, You know, if you're working with someone that's not enjoying what they're doing, it can be a real drainer. And likewise, if you're working with someone that doesn't love what they're doing and they're not happy as a customer, the customer can also feel that, engage that. So Shiny, hello there. I think
it's all good.
That's all good. That's all good. Yeah, so basically, guys, when we talk about people, we talk about every single person that comes into contact with our business, whether it be a supplier, whether it be an investor, whether it be a team member, whether it be a customer. Our end goal is to make people as happy as they can be with their experience with us. And guys, I guess that what differentiates Ovolo as a business compared with traditional hotels is the way that we view experience. We use 4 pillars to describe the types of experiences that we provide, and all of those pillars of experience are underpinned by our mission, which is to make people happy, to make them smile. Those 4 pillars are the brand experience, and I'm not going to talk too much around that today, but a lot of the brand experience really comes into our external communication from a marketing perspective. So you typically find, guys, that we spend as much time reinventing ourselves and communicating what it is that our brand stands for internally and externally, probably more than any other hotel company that I've ever had the opportunity to work with. You know, we work with the coolest graphic designers to make sure that things, the look and the feel and the tone of and everything around how we communicate is absolutely perfect and on brand. Then we have our product experience, and I'm going to go through that segment with you just now. Employee experience and our customer experience. So guys, in terms of our products, you know, I kind of talked a little bit about this Instagrammable hotel environment, and we all know, we've all been there. I'm sure that all of you will either have, you know, a Snapchat account, an Instagram account. Oh my goodness, what's that new one called with the videos? TikTok accounts and all these kind of things. I don't have a TikTok yet, guys. Yeah, we just got a question that's come through stating, interestingly, is our marketing targeted at a younger demographic? And the answer to that would be absolutely 100%. However, it's, believe it or not, it's not the younger demographic that stays with us. In fact, we've got quite an eclectic range of people that come to stay with us. And the way that we talk about our customers is more a psychographic profile as opposed to a demographic profile. So we tend to I guess, attract people who are after a local experience, and they're really not afraid to try something different. And that can really, you know, it can appeal to people that are teen, and it can appeal particularly in the US and the European markets. You know, we get guests that are 75, you know, 60, 75 coming to stay with us. So it really, really depends. But yes, we do market, I guess, probably to a much more younger demographic in terms of our look, our feel, our speak, our casualness, and so forth. So if you see this beautiful property, this is where I'm sitting right now. In fact, it's a shame that it can't show you the reception desk where I'm sitting right now, but in that bottom right hand image there on the left hand side of that image is the front desk, which is where I'm sitting right now. Now, this is beautiful Ovolo 1888 Darling Harbour. It's a heritage listed wool store. It's an incredibly beautiful product. It's got 90 rooms. When we took on this product, we really needed to inject some Ovolo personality and flair into each and every space. We partnered with a local artist by the name of Jasper Knight, and you can see Jasper's artwork in the top left-hand image there. is an industrial artist that works with primarily primary covers, and I guess that the it works really beautifully with the heritage. I guess the contrast between the heritage. Now, I just had a question pop up, Anita. How do I get that back? Here we go. What was 1888?
Yes.
Perfect. So, guys, 1888 was a wool store. So, so back in 1888, it was a wool store, and I actually did quite a lot of research into the history of the building. It was a wool store up until around the 1920s, where it changed hands into numerous commercial businesses, including Lifetime magazine at one time was here. But prior to that, it was developed by a developer and managed by 8 hotels. Has anyone heard of 8 hotels? No, they've got, yep, we've got, oh, look, Anita's put her hand up there, but they've got a number of small boutique properties in Sydney, and I think they've got one in Melbourne as well. So we purchased that property from them. Another thing that we did at 1888 was we researched the history of the building in order for us to be able to tell the stories of the building, and there is such incredible history here. The restaurant and bar that we refurbished and we reconceptualized, we named Mr. Percy. And the reason we named it Mr. Percy was because we found an etching in the sandstone outside of the window ledge in room 413 saying P. Hewitt. We did some research through ancestry.com, and we found out about Percy. We tracked down his family. I met with his granddaughter, and she told me everything there was to know about Percy. And we opened up a wine bar in his honor because he used to sneak out. He used to sneak out of his house, or sneak away from his house from his wife Jane, who didn't like him drinking wine, and go and drink wine with his mates and play cards. So yeah, this is the reason why we made it a wine bar, and I guess it's we're paying homage to Percy and the significance of the wool industry in Australia's early years. This is another incredible building of ours, which is Ovolo Woolloomooloo. Ovolo Woolloomooloo, believe it or not, also used to be a wool store. It's a little bit older than 1888, only by about 5 years, but it used to be a wharf, a timber wharf, an actual working industrial wharf back in its time. We purchased this particular building from Blue, what it probably would have been about 5 or 6 years ago now, and we completely refurbished it. The building is absolutely incredible. They're a completely different interior designer. So the interior designer that we used at 1888 was a design firm out of Sydney called Lekedi Krell. Much more, I have to say that Lekedi Krell is a much more boutique design firm. They back when we initially started with them, they weren't working on a lot of hotel projects, and we actually wanted an interior designer that didn't design a hotel in a traditional way, so that worked out quite beautifully for us. But for Ovolo Woolloomooloo, we worked with a design company called Shape, which is a much larger interior design firm. We've also worked with Woods Bagot, which is a huge international interior design firm on the Ovolo the Valley project. But at the moment, most of the time we're working with Lekedi Krell, who tends to have more of a food and beverage background in design. This is Ovolo Inchcombe. Again, another heritage listed doctor's surgery dating back to the late 1880s. An incredibly beautiful property, only 50 rooms, but you can see, guys, there's just so much character in these buildings. Every single place that you stand, within a couple of meters, there's an Instagram moment. Beautiful interiors, tons of stories. and it's a huge contributor to our guest experience. I need to tell you as well, guys, that this one's haunted. Unfortunately, or fortunately, no, they seem to be quite friendly, these ghosts. However, we do get some guest comments about it, including recordings from rooms, which is definitely part of local history. This is Ovolo the Valley. This was probably a little bit different to the normal buildings that we purchase, in that it was a relatively new build that didn't have any existing stories attached to it when we purchased it. And I guess that the key thing for us was partnering with a designer, coming up with a whole concept for the building, so that we did have a story to tell. Now, guys, this building is very close to Alex Perry's hotel. So the Alex Perry Hotel would be maybe 400 meters away from the front door of Ovolo the Valley. So the design concept that they came up with was the whimsical oasis. And you can't really see it from the images that I've provided you here, as well as what you can in some other images. But there's beautiful colored wallpaper everywhere, really, really soft lines. And in fact, even in the pendant lamps that are hanging besides the bed, they're little petal kind of structures that sit above them. It's an absolutely beautiful product. After we opened Ovolo the Valley, we also opened our food and beverage product, or our restaurant and bar, called Zazata. Guys, if you get a chance to have a look at Zazata, by all means, please take a look. It's Zata. We, at that time, before we opened Zazata, we hired a director of food and beverage who was an amazing concept guy to create this incredible restaurant and bar. It's Israeli-focused food, or Israeli-inspired food. And from a guest experience perspective, when you're looking at a rating in terms of food and service, it sits up at around the 98% mark. It truly is a phenomenal experience. So guys, I guess that's just giving you a little bit of an overview as to the types of products that we purchase in Ovolo. And I guess the key things are that, number one, we need to create an environment that's aesthetically pleasing and is Insta-worthy. Yeah, so it looks great in our images, looks great in social, looks amazing when people are sharing it. It makes people talk about it, so that they see something come up in their friends' feed, they want to come the same. If we don't have a story, and if we don't have that aesthetic, what we do is we create that aesthetic and we create that story, as we did in the Valley with the whimsical oasis. So guys, that's just giving you an overview of some of the properties. If we go next into customer experience, I guess that the customer experience as well, not just from a product perspective, but the service that we provide to our customers is like none other. And we like to refer to it as the additional perks that we provide our customers. So what we did back in the day, and what we do continuously throughout this journey, is we dissect the guest experience, and we've identified every single pain point in their journey through discussions with our customers, through our feedback surveys. And what we've tried to do is create an experience that is as effortless as it can be for them. So the things that we offer are free breakfast. When the guest books direct with us, they'll get free breakfast, and they also receive our free social hour. So free brekkie is obviously designed. Free breakfast is designed so that our guests are fueled before they kick off their day. And our free social hour is really about connecting. Guys, I'm sure that you're all aware, the free minibar always gets everyone. But nowadays we're not connecting socially as much as what we did in the past. And I guess that our free social hour allows for our GMs and our teams to connect more closely with our customers, and also with guests, with other guests during the social hour. In fact, we've had lots of guests kind of connect and form business relationships through that particular offer. So at the moment, guys, it's kind of funny. Number one, social hour is provided at all Ovolo hotels. Where it won't be offered is in our Buy Ovolo collective hotels. At the moment, you guys are probably going to have a bit of a giggle at this. We can't do social hour due to social distancing, so we're calling it unsocial hour. And what we do is we basically wheel a cart through the hotel with cocktails and wine and beer on it, and we kind of door knock door to door, and we provide that in room. So free super speed Wi-Fi, ladies and gents. A lot of hotels back in the time that we were offering this weren't offering this. In fact, all of our rooms are connected via Wi-Fi, whether it be the TV, the Apple TV, Chromecast, Alexa, everything is connected. Free in-room minibar is always a favorite, and our loot bag, which is filled with snacks. We've got a free self-service laundry, which goes down really, really well with the international crowd. In fact, the laundry is usually, in the summer, the laundry is usually packed with Euros who run social hour, grab a glass of wine, and then shove their laundry into the washers. Free gym access. So if we don't have gym access on site, we have partnerships with local gyms nearby where guests can access passes. All day snacks. So currently we've got a lolly station where guests can come down and get candy at any time of day. We've got Apple TV or Chromecast in all of our rooms, which allows guests to access their Netflix, their Stan content, and any of the apps, whether it be iView or a different station that they want to view, and that's as well as having Foxtel. We've got flexible checkout. So at Ovolo, guys, we never charge late checkout fees. So our view on it is, if you want to check out at o'clock at night and we've got no one in the room, we really don't care. We don't charge any additional for that. And it's the same with check-in. Like, we're flexible with our check-in time. We never say to our customers, sorry, check-in time's 2 o'clock, which I'm sure if you guys are working in hotels at the moment, you probably would have heard before. It's very frustrating for the customer when they receive that kind of communication. So we're super flexible around check-in and check-out. And then obviously Alexa. I've spoken about Alexa a lot. Alexa is a great tool for us, guys, and I know that Anita's you around authentic experiences at the moment. And I guess for us, Alexa provides a great tool for providing authentic experience, because as a brand, we love music. We love music, and we also understand that music is it's a personal thing. It's a personal taste. And Alexa allows for us to play people's own Spotify playlists from it. When they check into the room and they go, oh, wow, how great was your playlist? And you kind of chuckle because it's your playlist. Like, of course it's great. Or say, for example, if it's someone's birthday, there's a full activation that we do, and we might have, for example, yo shorty, it's your birthday, playing on Alexa when they walk in. Or if they're going to see an Ed Sheeran concert, we might have Ed Sheeran playing with a card in the room saying, hey, here's a little thing, here's a little something to get you warmed up for the concert. So question was, is Ovolo 5-star? That's a really, really cool question. I guess, guys, that the star rating system, Ovolo doesn't really abide by. To be deemed a 5-star property under the star rating system, we'd have to provide things like hairdressing services, day spas, all this kind of stuff. So I guess that we don't really conform to what a true 5-star property would offer in terms of services and facilities. So I'd say that we would say on a self-rated basis that we would deem ourselves 5 stars. But yeah, a very personal interpretation is what Anita's stating there. Now, guys, from a brand perspective, there are 4 key pillars that basically does Ovolo follow Forbes standard? No, we don't follow Forbes standard. We've met with Forbes, gone through Forbes standards quite comprehensively, and ladies and gents, I have to say that there's probably a little bit. There's some very traditional standards that we would need to conform to that don't really fit with our brand. So as a result, we chose not to get on the Forbes program. So guys, effortless living is our first brand pillar. So like I was saying to you before, we try and make things as easy and seamless, not just for our guests, but for our people on a daily basis. Basically, any decision that a team member makes during the day, they have to ask themselves first, am I making it effortless for our customers? And I guess that these brand pillars underpin absolutely every decision that we make within the business, and so underpins all of our policies, our processes, and so on and so forth. Happy guests are loyal guests. We always put the needs of our guests first. And I guess, guys, this is an external facing kind of communication here, but the reality is we always put the needs of our people and our guests as well. We firmly believe that it starts with the team. Happiness is infectious, and we need to ensure that all of our people are feeling great before they walk out into the stage every day and represent Ovolo. But ultimately, I guess that the reason happy guests are loyal guests is that, and this is where we're very different to other properties, we don't focus on the profitability of the hotel or the cost of running an initiative as to whether or not we should do something. So basically, we always put experience first, whether that be employee or guest experience. And we believe that if we can create this infectious loyalty or these brand fans, that it will have a massively positive impact on our brand. It'll increase our room rates. People will want to pay more, and the profitability will follow. So we refer to ourselves as a 100% guest-centric business. And it truly does differentiate us from our competitors. One of our objectives, guys, is to ensure that no guest leaves our building unhappy. And this is why we maintain such high TripAdvisor rankings, as we look after people and we make sure they're smiling 99% of the time anyway before they leave. This is my favorite pillar: fun, fabulous, unconventional, and never boring. Guys, we are different. We like to have fun. We are a very creative bunch. Internal, good question. Internal and external pillars, actually. Actually, they're not our communication pillars. I'll run through those in a moment. But I guess they're probably more internally facing than they are externally facing. But yeah, we're creative. We want people to be themselves. We believe that when people are comfortable in their environment and they can let their personalities flourish, that it makes it easier for the guests to connect with them because there's no barriers. There's the comfortability there. The tone of voice of the brand is very, very cheeky. In fact, a little bit naughty at times as well. Now, guys, these aren't our brand values or our company values. I'll run through those further on in the slides. So I guess, guys, again, going back to the pillars, if we're doing something for a customer, say it's an amenity for someone, we have to make sure that it's fun. How are we doing it differently? How are we making the customer smile? Ultimately, that's what the kind of experience we want to provide for them. So if you take a look, these are some of the guest amenities that the teams have put together over the years, and I guess that's another key thing, guys, when building when building an authentic experience, you need to allow autonomy to the team members to be able to enact various initiatives to react to a customer's personalization. So at Ovolo here, we give our team members basically complete autonomy to do whatever they want for our customers. Typically, there's a guest experience champion that sits within the front office team that can work on various initiatives. They run their own budget, they communicate to the teams, everyone kind of works different ideas around different guests that are arriving. Yeah, 100% within the parameters of the pillars. So is it effortless? Is it fun? Is it innovative? So this is very, very naughty, this one here. Break my bark, not my balls. I don't know what that was for, but that was a bit naughty. You know, we've got a lot of creativity. The team's making their own cards. All of our front desk teams, they learn brush letter writing so that they can handwrite all of their cards. You know, this is the whimsical oasis here up in the valley. So there's a lot of kind of pineapple references. You've got stacks of pyramids with things in it. This was for a lady that had a yeah, just some colouring in items there. So basically really trying to personalize the experience based upon this customer. No, so from a guest experience perspective, guys, think about it. We're in typically all of our Ovolo properties are under 120 rooms. So our teams are tiny. In fact, our largest workforce is around 120 people, and that's just at Ovolo Woolloomooloo because the F&B component is so large. So typically, a lot of our guest experience programs are run by our front desk teams. We've seen so many cool things being done. The one that I love the most is here at 1888, where for birthdays, I think I told you about Yo Shorty, It's Your Birthday playing on Alexa, but what they do is they create a kid's birthday party where they've got flashing lights, lolly bags, party poppers on the bed, and it's actually quite extraordinary to walk into, and the customer gets a huge surprise. But again, it's all about personalization. So identifying what's happening, why is the person here, what can we do, how can we relate? We've got a very, very cheeky regular guest that we absolutely love that stays in 2 of our properties, and he always writes us TripAdvisor posts. So on one of his stays, we actually did up a fake TripAdvisor post for him, and we framed it about how much of an awesome guest he was and blah, 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 blah. So it's about having fun, being a little bit cheeky and getting creative. Guys, the final brand pillar is our effervescent experience. And effervescent experiences are what happens when all of this comes together. If we can make an experience effortless, if we can make the guests smile, whether it be through the personal interaction that we have with them or by injecting some fun, some fabulous, unconventional, never boring, what happens is we really create a memorable or an effervescent experience for them that they talk about forever. And hopefully they write us a really cool TripAdvisor review. So yeah, so these pillars, guys, again, they underpin everything that we do. And for us at Ovolo, creating an authentic experience, an Ovolo authentic experience must have these elements contained within it from a guest perspective. And this also extends to our employee experience as well. And that brings me, guys, to what makes an authentic experience at Ovolo. So basically our brand pillars, it needs to be something that, or the type of experience that we're providing needs to be aligned with our brand pillars. We need to have elements of the four pillars of experience within each of the buildings and the provisions of the product and the service that we're providing. We need to listen, like truly actively listen to our customers. truly listen to our customers and tailor their wants and needs, or tailor an experience to the individual person. And I guess to the point made earlier around our values, guys, is that these values also underpin our behaviors. So when we're talking about an authentic experience for our customers, we want to make sure that there's an element of care in everything that we do. We have to actively listen to what the customer is saying. We need to act. We need to be able to put ourselves in their shoes to be able to provide them with these effervescent experiences. We need to be innovative, strive for continuous improvement. We need to respond quickly, guys. And I guess, when we're working for in such an entrepreneurial environment, from a business perspective, we need to adapt. We need to respond in a very fast manner, but also from a guest perspective, we need to be fast, nimble, listen, react, have processes in place in the background to ensure that everything is acted on as quickly as it can be. Guys, we're incredibly respectful. If we make a mistake, we will say sorry. And I guess there's a lot of companies out there that just don't use the words, we're sorry. And quite often the customer may be really, really upset around what their experience is. And we may be saying, well, hey, we haven't really done anything wrong. But it doesn't matter whether it's wrong or right. It's how the guest is feeling and how we can turn that around. How can we understand or put ourselves in their shoes? So yeah, respect is huge, and saying please, thank you, and sorry. And then finally, guys, I know we talked about empowerment a lot, but we have to empower. If we want to provide this Ovolo experience to our customers, we have to empower our people. And we probably give our people, I'd say we do give our people more free rein than any other company, I think, in the world, to make decisions. The team stands behind it. We learn from each other. We're not afraid to fail. We pick ourselves up and we keep going again. And you know what? Sometimes, guys, we empower, we get things wrong. But that's okay. We're okay with that. It just becomes a learning experience. And if it impacts the customer, again, we just go back to respect. We say sorry. Sorry, we misread that. I'm just going to show you now, guys, that employee experience, some of the initiatives that we have at Ovolo around employee experience. We've got a really cool communication portal to communicate to all of our teams what we're doing in the guest experience space, what we're doing from a CSR perspective, what kind of awards we're winning, tossing around ideas and so on and so forth. So communication is really, really important to us. And I guess so too is this element of fun in our communication. We're often the loudest, we're often the brightest, and that's okay. That's who we are. Look at the left-hand side post, guys. This is a bit cheeky. So this is from our friends up in Brisbane. This was a regular guest who wanted a bath in his room, and he's been given a blow-up pool. So question was, I think, how do we measure employee engagement and satisfaction? Guys, we do quarterly pulse surveys on all of our team members in relation to their engagement with the business, and quite often it depends on what we're focusing on as well, that they may be changed. So pulse surveys are super important. And also, I guess, guys, I know it's not a measurement tool, but talking to our people is a very critical component to make sure that they're happy and there's nothing that's impacting their inability or their ability to be shiny happy while they're on shift. We do have a pet program. It's called VI Pooch. So we do welcome dogs in all of our properties. In fact, our dogs have their own loot bag or their own goodie bag called the doggy bag. They get a pet bed, a pet bowl, they get their dinner and all that kind of thing. So it's pretty cool. So guys, fun stuff, you know, donut days, barbecues, lots of training, you know, cocktail training, safety and hygiene, probably a little bit boring, but very, very necessary. Lots of online learning via our learning management system. And then we've got our face-to-face learning, which we call Rock Ovolo. And I guess you can say that our training is probably like no other kind of training that a company would provide, in that, again, it's underpinned by our pillars. Has to be effortless, so it has to be easy, which is what our online learning portal is. It has to provide an effervescent experience and be fun. So you can see here on the right-hand side, we've got some karaoke singing going on there to learn all about the brand. Yeah, so we're always trying to have fun, even when we're dealing with really, really serious tasks. Yeah, I guess, guys, in terms of our learning program, when a person starts, you know, look like a rock star, all of our team members undergo a styling workshop to teach them how to present themselves in the workplace. And it's such an uplift, I think, for our team members to, you know, have a makeover by our stylist, Claudia. So things like, you know, look like a rock star, our customer service training, our brush letter writing training is all very, very different, I guess, to what a traditional company would provide. And yes, the employee experience is 100% as important as the guest experience. And in fact, some of the white papers that I've read, and with some of the contacts that I have at some of the larger survey companies, have really detailed how connected the relationship is between the employee experience or employee satisfaction and guest satisfaction. So yeah, 100%, we have to get the employee experience right too. 100%. 007 missions, guys. So we love to connect, share, and learn, and that's what our 007 missions are all about. So what we do is we pull a team member from a Melbourne property, send them up to Brisbane, and they'll spend a week there, learn how that property does things differently. And I guess it's just all about connecting our teams and learning from one another. Quite often, hotels can end up sitting in silos, and we definitely don't want that. We want to create one team across a vast portfolio. Goodness, look at these guys down bottom left from Hong Kong with these glasses on. Crazy. We've got top right, we've got our leadership training, Rock Ovolo training as well. So guys, that's it from me in relation to how we do things differently at Ovolo, and a little bit of a brand introduction. Has anyone got any questions?
I know that Amanda has already replied to many of the questions, but if you have any, just you can jump in at any time, show your face, because that's nice to do as well. Or you can write it in the chat box as well. How did COVID-19 impact Ovolo? Someone is asking. Raul.
Raul, business is booming. I'm sorry, that was sarcasm, complete sarcasm. Look, it's impacted us incredibly greatly, Raul, and I've got to say that you know, I've been in the industry for 25 years now, and I never in my life experienced anything like COVID-19. We went through, obviously, there was the SARS epidemic, there was the GFC, we had the Ansett collapse, all through my time, but nothing as, I guess, sweeping as what's happened during COVID-19. I guess what we saw is this immediate decrease in occupancy, where we were sitting at 85% occupancy, and it plummeted all the way down to 10% occupancy over a number of weeks. It was it still is a very challenging time for us. We had to make the terrible decision to stand a lot of our employees down. which basically means that most of them are on the JobKeeper program at the moment, and I guess that we're just in the process now of trying to refine our comeback strategy. Now, there's lots of questions coming through.
Sorry, I guess connected to this one, Raul is asking if you have accepted quarantine guests.
You know what? We were in two minds around quarantine guests. I guess we made a decision that we would take quarantine guests, and I know that may come as quite a shock. But we saw a great media opportunity in taking our quarantine guests. We had an entire guest experience strategy purely for our quarantine guests. And we knew that with the media being as quiet as it currently is, and a lot of markets not investing in advertising, the media looking for a good news story, that we may be able to capitalize on that. I guess from an operational perspective, if we took the quarantine guests, we'd be using an external housekeeping company, and we would only have managers managing the building to minimize the risk. We didn't end up winning any of the quarantine business, unfortunately. In saying that, however, from what I'm seeing, the rates are as low as $120 a night. So from a financial perspective, it would be quite difficult for us to make a profit out of that. Is there a concern about branding? Definitely, of course, there was a concern about branding. I guess that the way that we were going to circumvent that was to come out with our new cleaning strategies, where we'd be sanitizing all of our rooms on a daily basis in order to mitigate any risk for our incoming guests. But no, we didn't receive any of the quarantine guests. Going back to the question around what is the pricing strategies and pick up and off peak seasons. I guess, guys, that our pricing strategies, I guess from a positioning perspective, we position ourselves quite high from a pricing strategy perspective. So you'll typically find, and I don't know if you've studied revenue yet, but our RGI will sit around 120. So typically we land at a lower occupancy and a higher average room rate. And the strategies typically, they definitely change in accordance with the season. Yep, 100%. Guess there
is a question. How do your team know what the guests exactly want in their experience before they enter the hotel?
Billy, that's a really, really great question. And I guess Girish always says to us, don't worry about what the guest wants. Tell them what they want, surprise them, and they're going to love it. And I guess that goes completely against what I said about personalization. However, we can provide personalized experiences, but we do also want to surprise and delight and provide something that's completely different to what other hotels are providing. But I guess when we reflect upon, I guess more broadly, on our guest satisfaction or our surveys, our guest feedback, we can make amendments to our guest journey to try to mitigate any challenges or any issues that come along the way. But realistically, we don't really know exactly what they expect. We can try to guess what they're going to expect depending upon each of the markets and just make plans accordingly. Is there any predictive work carrying on in the hotel like due to low occupancy? Absolutely, Pradeep. So at the minute, we're in the process of deep cleaning our rooms. We're painting. We're doing all these kind of things that we can do to get the hotel into ship shape before we open again. In saying that, we've only got 3 hotels at the moment that are in hibernation, and the rest are still functioning.
There is another question about if there is any plan to establish new hotels in other countries.
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, we're in the process at the moment of refurbishing a property in Bali in Indonesia. So that's currently happening as we speak. We're looking for properties in the US. We're looking for properties in the US, Europe, and also New Zealand at the moment. We also have 2 new properties that are due to open, one at the end of this year, which will be in South Yarra in Melbourne, and another one in South Melbourne down in Victoria as well. So yes, definitely plans for expansion, that's for sure. And we've got a director of development and acquisitions that looks after that.
Paula is also asking, how do you collect the information? For example, whether or not it's a birthday, a celebration, a child. Do you have a pre-check-in questionnaire?
Yeah, no, we don't do a pre-check-in questionnaire. We do send out a see you soon communication, but a majority of the information that we collect are either coming through in the comments that the customer may be entering in via the online travel agents or via conversations that we're having with them over or via emails.
Okay, so next one is actually Maxine. She's asking, how do you recruit new employees?
Yeah, good question, Maxine. You know what? We've done some crazy things over the years. So when we opened Ovolo the Valley, we had to hire over 50 people for the pre-opening team. And what we actually did is we did a rooftop party on the top of the pool area at the Valley. And the first thing that we did is we did like a speed dating scenario where we would fire different behavior-based questions at the people, and basically just saw how they could react on their feet, and then they went upstairs into the pool party and we could gauge how they reacted with others and so on and so forth. So typically we don't hire on skill, we hire on behavior and right fit for the business. Really, the kind of people that we're looking for are people that have an amount of confidence and also someone that aligns with our values. So yeah, so probably we do some traditional recruitment as well in terms of just advertising on Seek and the like. And then we'll invite people in. We might even, have a drink at the bar before we get into the interview questions. But it is really important for us to be holding, I guess, formal interviews as well. But there's a huge focus, less so on questions around technical capability and more so around behaviour.
Marco is asking also, how would your team promote and attract the guests coming to stay in your hotel company? What kind of strategy do you have?
Promote and attract the guests to stay in your hotel company. Oh, Marco, I guess that, look, a lot of this all comes down to our marketing plan. So number one, it's around our brand communication. So from a marketing perspective, we focus very, very extensively on our brand communication. So less around, I guess, tactical price-driven campaigns. So first and foremost, very much so investment in digital strategies. And less so in traditional media. This is a massive question, Marco, a massive question. But yeah, I'd say that
you're also going to have a massive unit that you're going to have to go through to understand this question, which is marketing. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'd say, in a nutshell, a lot of the marketing that we do is brand marketing via digital channels, and we focus very, very heavily on PR. Yeah,
yes,
much more like social media, Marco. So not just social, but also digital. So we spend, we've got a digital marketing manager that is within our business, and then we work quite extensively with different contractors that look after all of our online campaigns as well. But you're less likely to see Ovolo in a newspaper. Let's just put it that way.
And probably less expensive as well.
Absolutely, Anita, 100%.
That is definitely the way to go.
Yeah, we do a lot of partnership marketing as well. So say partnering with the likes of Mercedes-Benz Week, and various other partners, the art show. Yeah, and we do a lot of kind of partner marketing as well.
Now, Hola is also having another question. I think she's just probably she has some connection issues, but how big is your team globally? Is senior management heavily involved in the detail? Do you ever see Girish on the ground?
Do you know what? I don't actually know how big our team is globally. I think it's around 650. It'll be around 650 team members. Is senior management heavily involved in the detail? Absolutely. Girish loves the detail, particularly when it comes to experience. In fact, the reason why I said to Anita today that I might be slightly late is because we're looking at our new cleaning and hygiene program off the back of COVID, and Girish wanted to be involved in, I guess, some ideation around what we're going to do or what we are doing. So yes, he is very involved, and again, he's called another meeting with me this afternoon to talk through some other ideas that he's had. So very involved in the detail. Do we ever see Girish on the ground? Absolutely. So the borders aren't closed. He's in each of the properties, I'd say, on a bi-monthly basis. We see him. So very, very heavily involved.
I think this will be our last question because I'm sure that Amanda's it's a very busy woman first. And I'm sure she probably has Girish calling her again. Is your company, does your company have any survey on guest experience after their stay?
Definitely, definitely. So what we have is our thank you email that goes out, and the guests are prompted to complete a survey, and then that data comes through and it's collated on a weekly basis on property, and then a monthly basis from a head office perspective. And then we review all of those results at the end of each month and review the plans at the property level to make improvements.
All right.
We're seeing tons. I just did a webinar with our survey company last week around hygiene and cleanliness, and the guest expectation in relation to hygiene and cleanliness going forward. So it's very, very interesting times in that guest experience space.
Now, if I can ask one last question to all of you before Amanda leaves, is how many of you, after watching and after listening to Amanda, now want to stay at Ovolo Hotels at least once in their life? Raise your hand.
Yay!
There you go. So we made some brand fans here.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it.
And now
guys, I'd love to see you on the ground sometime. You'll have to come visit me.
Another one. How many of you would want to work for Ovolo? Yeah, a few more. There you go. They're all coming.
Beautiful.
So you've got yourself some people here.
Amazing.
And I think on behalf of everybody, I just wanted to thank you, Amanda. Amanda, she is such a great supporter of our institution, and she's always so available and so happy to help and come and share her experience and her knowledge with you. So maybe a big thank you from all of you to Amanda. And Amanda, thank you again for taking the time today. I think the student loved it. There was great engagement, great questions, great points to discuss afterwards. And again, thank you. I'm not going to show my face, unfortunately, because I have problems with video today, and the bandwidth is a bit weird. But you know my face anyway.
I know your face, darling. I know your face.
From Melbourne, I can't show my face either. I was just trying to, but thank you so much, Amanda. That was just so enlightening, engaging, and fantastic. I really, really appreciate your time. It was wonderful.
Oh, you are welcome. It's my absolute pleasure to give back to you guys. I've been blessed in my career, and I'm certainly blessed in my role at the moment. So it's nice to actually give back to industry.
And we are very grateful for people like you that love to give back, because we love to hear all these things.
Amazing. Well, thank
And
you.
thank you
All
so
right.
much.
Thank
Bye.
you again, Amanda. I'm sure I will
Cheers,
see you
guys.
soon.
Yeah, we'll
Uh,
chat soon.
Thank you again. And for the students in Melbourne, I believe, Maxine, I don't know if you have anything planned for them afterwards.
Absolutely. We've got some, we're going to go over a few points from this. So just to reinforce it. So
Perfect.
it was perfect for our assessment, Amanda. Thank
Oh,
you.
amazing, amazing. Well,
Thank you.
thanks everyone. Take care and
Bye.
stay safe.
Yeah, you
Thank
stay
you.
safe.
Take care.
Bye.
Ciao.
Bye.
Hopefully to see you soon.
Hopefully, I want to give you a big hug.
Yes.
Ciao.
Me too. Bye, Amanda. So now, who we've got left here? So I believe the students from Melbourne, you can now exit. Thank you very much for being here with us. And I'm sure Miss Maxine will be waiting for you in your other chat. Happy to see you soon again, maybe for another guest talk and a guest lecture. And in the meantime, the students from Sydney, would you like to have maybe 5 minutes of break before we have our workshop with Miss Benet? Raise your hand if you don't want to have a break. Oh wow, we actually have people that don't want to have a break. I thought I was doing you a favor. Okay, but Miss Benet, if you're here, they're ready. Seems like that they're ready.
How exciting! Although I can see a whole lot of people leaving the session now. I'm hopeful.
Yes, they're the Melbourne students.
Okay. No, that's great. I'm absolutely ready, and I'm thrilled that there are so many people eager to learn about critical